Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Bang the Card Game. Bang the Card Game is a 4 to 7 player game published by DV Games. In Bang the Card Game, you're going to be playing through a spaghetti western. You're going to have your own role, and you're going to have your own character, and you're going to try to figure out through social deduction what all the other players' roles are, except for the sheriff, because that will be known at the start of the game. The sheriff will flip over their role card. The sheriff wins if all the outlaws and the renegade are eliminated, and the deputy wins if the sheriff survives and all the outlaws and the renegade are eliminated. The renegade and outlaw players, well, the outlaws win if the sheriff is killed and, they're still alive. The renegade wins if everyone's killed. So, because he wants to be, or she wants to be, the new sheriff in town. Let's go ahead down to the table here. I'm going to give you a general idea how to set up the game and how the game plays. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Bang the Card Game. Bang the Card Game is a shootout in a spaghetti western style. In this game, you're going to get a roll card, and that roll card is going to determine how you win. You will also get a character card, which is going to be this little stack here, and you're going to be able to use these cards throughout the game to take out your opponents. Now, how does the game get set up? Well, to start out, you're going to stack this roll card deck here. So you're going to take a look at the rule book. There's always going to be a sheriff, there's always going to be renegades, there's always going to be outlaws, but there's not always going to be a deputy. So you can look at the rule book here, and then here it's going to show you which player count you have for how many cards. So let's say we're playing 4 players, we would have 1 sheriff, 2 renegade, and 2 outlaws, but we're going to say we're playing with 5 players so we can go over all the characters. And we'll have 1 sheriff, 1 renegade, 2 outlaws, and 1 deputy. Alright, so I just go in here, take a sheriff, I would get 1 renegade, I would get 2 outlaws, and I would get 1 deputy. And then I would put the rest in the box because it won't be needed for the game. We'll shuffle these cards up and hand one out to each player. Each player is also going to get this player mat, and they're going to get a rules reference sheet. Now, the sheriff player will flip their card so everyone knows that they're the sheriff. And all the other characters will be, all the other roles will be secret. Next, each player will get a character card. So we'll shuffle all these up and hand out a character card to each player. So players will have their role and the character. So for example here, this character is Bart Cassidy. Each time he is hit, he draws a card. So this one's pretty nice power. So everyone gets like a slight asymmetric power when they're playing the game. And we'll put your character card here, and you're going to take a look at how many bullets that are on there. And that's how many bullets you're going to put on your player board. So in this case, it's 4. If you're going to be the sheriff, or you are the sheriff, you would get 1 more extra bullet for the game. All right, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to shuffle up the play deck, which is this bugger right here. And we're going to deal out as many cards as they have bullets for to each player. So this character is going to get 4. If they were the sheriff, they would have got an extra bullet, and they would have got 5 cards. All right, so now let's get into how we play. We're going to have everyone take turns with the sheriff starting. So the sheriff will start the game. And everyone's going to draw 2 cards, play any number of cards, and discard excess cards. You can only have cards equal to your bullet count, which is also your health in the game. Well, why are you going to play cards? Well, you're trying to win the game. Well, how do you win the game? Well, you're going to take a look at your role, and depending on your role, depends on what you need to do to win the game. All right, so let's go back to the sheriff card. The sheriff card here will win the game. If all the outlaws and the renegades are killed, the sheriff will win the game. Also, the deputies will win the game if all the outlaws and renegades are killed. So if you're the deputy, which there could have been one in here, that's the same way that you win. if the sheriff is killed and the renegade is the only one alive, which would be this guy right here, then the renegade wins. Otherwise, the outlaws win. So that's it. That's how you're going to win with your different roles. So on your turn, I would draw 2 cards, and I would play as many as I want. Well, there's 2 different types of cards in the game. There's going to be these blue bordered cards, and there's going to be brown bordered cards. And they're going to matter a lot for what you're going to be doing in the game itself. So let's go over some of these cards and how you play them. Okay, so let's look at a couple cards here. Now, each of these cards actually also has suits, which will come into importance later on. But just know that the blue bordered cards, they stick around generally. So other view you at a distance of +1. That we're going to go over distance in a second for shooting. And this one here, scope, you view other players at a -1 distance. So these blue cards here will help you out. There's blue cards that hurt players and so on. There's these bang cards. You can only play 1 bang card per turn. And this one here is going to be what you're going to use to remove these bullets from players. So let's go over bang cards here in a for a second. Let's show you another. What's another one? Here's a India. So this one, well, if you play this one, all other players discard a bang, which is good, or lose 1 life point. So that'll get rid of bullets or the bang cards out of their hands. Well, let's go over how this actually works. So you can play as many as you want of those, with the exception that you can only play 1 bang card per turn, and you can only play 1 copy of any card per turn, and you may only have 1 weapon. So let me show you an example of a weapon. You can get this weapon right here, and this will increase your range. So before we go over firing, you have to make sure someone's in range. So the way that it's working is the person to your left and right are 1 range away. The second person to your left is 2 range away. The third person to your left is 3 range away, and so on and so forth. So you can either look left or right, and however many seats away from you is their range. All right, so what you're simply going to do on your turn is you're going to check distance and make sure they're within a proper distance, and you're going to play a bang card with the person that is in range. Now you can use weapons to go farther range, but generally you're going to have a range of 1. Weapons can increase that. The person that you played a bang card can immediately play a missed card, and if they play a missed card, then they don't have to lose a bullet. But if they don't have a missed card, they will lose 1 bullet. This will reduce their life down, so this character would now have 3 life, and would only be able to hold 3 cards at the end of the turn. So at the end of the turn, they would have to discard down to 3 cards. Once a character has lost all of its bullets, its role is revealed. All right, so a couple things can happen when you reveal a character. One is because they died. If the sheriff eliminates a deputy, the sheriff's going to lose all their cards and everything that they have in play. So the sheriff feels bad that he killed the deputy. Any player eliminates an outlaw, even if the eliminated player himself or herself is an outlaw, they're going to draw 3 cards. So it's good to kill the outlaw, really bad for the sheriff to kill the deputy. That's it. So you're going to keep going until the sheriff is killed, or all the outlaws and the renegade are killed and the sheriff wins, and that will end the game. So that in a quick nutshell is how you play Bang the card game. Let's go ahead back up the table here and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. So Bang the card game is a fun, fast-paced, spaghetti western style game, and with a light social deduction on the game. There's only a couple different roles that people can be, and eventually it becomes pretty obvious what they are, but the game is a lot of fun. So I'm going to say, if you're going to be looking for a fun, fast-paced game that has a lot of social interaction with it and has a pretty high player count, which goes up to 7, then I would highly recommend checking out Bang the card game. That's my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.